Okay, so I am gonna do a garden tour, but before I do that, I was just gonna show you how some of the harvest stuff is going. This is a crate of our onions, and that's about, I'd say a third or a fourth of what onions we have. We brought them in here in my last video, and they were drying out in this rack. And today, actually, Elias cut all the tops off them, and we'll probably eat those ones first because we have to get more in here in a couple days, but I'll take you out in the garden in a second. And then this is our potato harvest. I got them in this room with the lights off. I did take the onions. That's why part of the reason why we took the onions out of this room, because I'm not trying to leave them in the same room as the onions, because I think they'll sprout faster or something. I remember when I was doing my seed potatoes, reading an article that said, like, if you put potatoes in a bag with onions, they'll sprout faster. So it smells like onions, or it smelled like onions in here, so I took the onions that were curing out in that crate. We also have our garlic in here that we harvested a few weeks ago, and we'll save the big ones for seed and cook with the rest. But this was 82 pounds of potatoes, and I just got a little fan on them, and they'll be in here for about a week, and then I'll probably store them in a cooler, dark spot. I'll probably separate them by size, and a lot of them are small like this. We'll still eat these, but then we'll keep these for last because we'll use these for seed potatoes. But yeah, so that's that, and let's go upstairs. So basically I'm just storing them in the dark for about a week. We'll probably eat all those, and then I have more planted in the garden. So the last few weeks, I've actually made a few videos, but I haven't finished them. So I think I'm just gonna like scrap them, start over, because I've been really busy with work. And oh, Kayla's doing something. What do you got?
It's salsa. It's gonna be salsa.
Oh, wow. So this is our onions right there.
Careful, those peppers on hot are the spicy ones.
So there's our onions. Salsa recipe. Mm-hmm. Actually, this is what we're eating for dinner.
I just moved
There's
it.
onions, some sausage, and then, sausage and onions, and then carrots and potatoes. This is basically how I cook everything. I'm not like a master chef or anything. Actually, funny story, my buddy is really good at cooking, Corey, and he has a podcast called Cook Better. And I don't know why, well, he wanted me to come on it. I'm not a great cook, so I was a little skeptical of going on the Cook Better podcast, but he wanted to talk about gardening and eating your gardening harvest. So we did have a little conversation. I'll throw a video in right here.
Ooh. All right. That was really loud in my ear. Probably in yours too. I apologize.
Yeah, this audience is going nuts.
No, they're pretty crazy. In front of a live studio audience. You started your garden a couple of years ago, but why did you, I think you covered it a little bit, but what made you want to do a garden?
So that was a lot of fun. I'll link that in the description if you guys want to watch it or listen. And I just want to show you a little bit here. This is our second or third little harvest of tomatoes. That Kayla looks like she's using it for salsa. We have a lot of cracking going on the bigger ones. Like that one is pretty bad. They're not all that bad. But we'll just cut around that and eat it. And then like some of these big ones, like just weren't ripe, so we're just ripening them up inside. Actually, we have Kayla's grandparents have apple trees that were putting out some apples. So we have apples we're gonna do something with. They had a peach tree that had some early peaches, so we're gonna do something with those too. But it looks like This is our garlic. Kayla's doing a salsa recipe, a canned salsa recipe. This is the second salsa batch that we've done this year. We did a fermented one earlier. I guess I can show you that before we go outside. So yeah, dinner is just carrots and potatoes in a pan, and those cooked a little longer than the onions and sausage. This year we're gonna try to do, I'd like to, I don't know for sure, but I'd like to get my own sausage stuffer and make venison sausage, because we actually eat a lot of venison and we eat a lot of sausage. So I've heard that's good if you get a good recipe. So I'll show you the fermented salsa we made earlier this year real quick. This video might be a little longer just because, like I said, so this looks a little weird. But this is fermented. You have to refrigerate it. It'll last for 5-6 months in the fridge if it lasts that long. But we did it with the golden tomatoes. That's why it looks a little odd. But it is good. It's really good. Just not your standard red salsa. Anyway, this video might be a little longer just because I kind of want to maybe catch up on some of the things, the videos that I've started and maybe not finished. I'll just throw in this one. Like, for example, the tomato hornworm issue or battle that we've been fighting. I'll show you some of the damage here in a second, but you know, I've been out in the garden. It's just hard to, the amount of work I've been doing lately with my business and other projects around the house that I'd like to share someday with this YouTube channel. I just haven't made videos while I'm out here. So everything's looking good. We'll kind of walk around right now and do an update, but we got the rest of the onions pulled. We'll go over here. These are the yellow sweet Spanish. And look how big they are. Like I have pretty big hands. That's a good 4.5 inch wide onion. You know, they're all pretty consistent. We've been getting beans pretty regularly. We actually, this one I just broke off today. And this one by accident. I gotta come back out and harvest these. We've actually been eating the beans from, up until the last couple of weeks, we've been eating the beans that we had in the freezer from last harvest season, last year. And it's so refreshing to get fresh beans, green beans. It's the quality kind of diminishes over a year. We grew enough for a year, and we're finally getting fresh green beans the last month or so. And even I have, where I took out the garlic, I have, you know, another third succession of green beans going. So we'll be harvesting them hopefully for a while. This is the white onion. Like I said, we just basically pluck them, and like now that those roots are dry, if they sit in the sun for a day or two, the paper kind of starts to form. We'll bring them inside and put them on that rack upside down like that, and then they'll dry out and you know, last longer. These are Red Zeppelin, same thing. Starting to dry out the roots, and that paper is, you probably hear that, pretty prevalent. More onions. Maybe we'll loop around this way. More onions. These onions are crazy over here. Look at this thing. Look at that red onion. I don't know what I can compare it to here. This is like a garden trowel for reference, I guess. Pretty cool. The onions this year are giant, so that's fun. We're getting these fun dragon's tongue beans. They're like a purpley streak on a white bean. and they're good to just munch on. They're a little sweet, and not very seedy. This is a patty pan variety. This is from Burpee, called Sunburst, Yellow Sunburst or something like that. And then this is like just a green scallop squash. So these are really good. All we do is we take out the, ooh, that one got a little, we just cut that out. But we basically core them, where the seeds are, and then we just eat the flesh. We like cube up the flesh and then fry it or roast it in the oven. These green ones I'm not as super impressed with this year because the plants are kind of weak. But they're almost done anyway. They've been getting hit pretty hard with the squash vine borer. Like, look, there's the eggs right there. So I've been trying to fight that battle, and when I see that, I just squish them. But they're just all over. You can't really, there's a point where you can't, compete. There's some on that leaf too. Anyway, that was a good productive squash bed this year. There is one more variety that we have in here that I don't see. We don't have any ready, it looks like. These are just amazing, Sun Gold tomatoes. There's this one plant is just so prolific. And they are just delicious. I'll munch on one. Oh, this is the other summer squash. This one's about twice as big as we like to pick them. I think Kayla picked this to give to the chickens. I'll show you. We did have a little bit of blossom end rot, so I just put this bone meal on the tomatoes. I'll show you that when we get to it. That is the bed that's overgrown with weeds, but I don't really care because all it is these onions, really. And they're not super big anyway. These are the onions we did from sets. So I just basically got to go take the onions out and basically clear the whole bed. This, like that, you can tell is either dry or vine borer. It looks like vine borer, honestly, that squash plant. These are the potatoes we have in succession on either side of the corn there. And then these potatoes. But this corn has the tassels on it. It's a good 6.5 foot tall here. And it's ready to be pollinated. So I do see some pollen coming off and getting on the leaves. So hopefully that works. I also see a little bit of pest pressure. I didn't spray this. And I thought about spraying it. I'm not sure if I'm too late or not. With like spinosad is an organic, like that one's got aphids all over it. Last year we lost one variety to these white bugs that were in the ears of corn, but we had plenty, so I guess I'll just see what happens. Potatoes, these sunflowers are beautiful. And I have a lot of them. You kind of see on the side of the greenhouse there, on the side of the fence there. We'll get to those ones in a minute. Our compost pile is just, neglected, and we are dumping stuff in it, but these are all volunteer tomato plants that I just kind of let go. They do have tomatoes on them. In the greenhouse we have, it's not the prettiest thing, but we have a couple cantaloupe that I have these little nets because I'm growing them up a stake here. There's one on the ground here, but that one looks like it's dirty. I'll probably have to put something under that. But we have a watermelon back here. These pepper plants were like 4 or 5 feet tall before they fell over. It's hard to tell really on camera, but we've been harvesting a lot of peppers off these. Man, these, you normally don't have to support peppers, but this greenhouse is ideal for these peppers. Apparently, I just might have to trellis them next time or put a cage around them. Man, need some attention. So on our cucumber plants, we're getting a lot of cucumbers. They're like the big English slicer cucumbers, but the plants are not growing very big. Normally, like this time last year, they were taking over this whole trellis. So not sure if the variety we got, the plants just don't get very big. They're still putting us out a ton of cucumbers, so that's good. These 3 were where we harvested those potatoes. These 2 beds, it's been pretty dry, so I can tell I haven't watered these by hand at all. But I can tell these peppers are looking a little dry. I usually let them get dry like this before I water them because they don't mind. And then all the tomatoes in here are volunteer. Like this looks like a cherry tomato plant that's just growing everywhere. Am I just letting it go, I guess? But this looks like another San Marzano plant. That's a volunteer. See, that's what a tomato plant does if you don't trellis it. It just grows along the ground. I haven't touched this, so you get plenty of tomatoes, hopefully, and you know, it's just not the prettiest thing. It takes up a lot more room, so it works. A lot of that basil I couldn't keep up with poking the tops off like this, so I tried a couple months. But then the good thing about that is when it does this, like there's a couple bees right there, you can see the bees are loving the basil right now. Something to eat, keeps them around. And that brings us to the tomatoes. The hornworms here, this is evidence of a tomato hornworm. They'll eat the top of the plant like that. You kind of see, like this one has the leaves, this one has no leaves. And also they munch on the tomatoes when they get to it. So I'll show you a video right now. I came out here with a blacklight flashlight that I got on Amazon, and they actually glow in the dark. With my phone, I took some video. So you can kind of tell in the daytime where they're eating, but they're really hard to see in the daytime. So you can see evidence of them, but you can't always see them. You can see their poop on the leaves. You can always find them in the nighttime if you have a black light because they glow in the dark. And I just collected them all in this box, and I fed them to my chickens the next day. They're kind of nasty things. The chickens do eat them, but you could just squash them and stuff. They will eat and destroy a whole tomato plant if you let them. Here is evidence of a tomato hornworm also. This is what they do. They'll eat like they were munching on. They munched on all these leaves, you can kind of tell, and just destroyed the growth of this plant. This plant will not get any higher unless it puts out new growth. But look, it made its way down this branch right here, and it almost ate that whole tomato. And it was munching on that one. And this might have been before I found it. Or he might still be here somewhere. I just can't see him. It's really hard to see him. They look exactly like a curled up leaf. So I was looking for some blossom end rot to show you. I haven't actually seen any. Like that's not blossom end rot. That's just, you know, cracking or whatever. We'll check the other varieties, the San Marzano. Okay, here's one. So that's blossom end rot. That's pretty nasty. A lot of times like that, we might be able to cut off. But a lot of times it's like here's another one on the same plant. And then the rest of them look okay to my eye here. Yeah, so just a couple on that plant, which is better than all of them. That would be pretty frustrating, wouldn't it? So maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought, but I did put that organic bone meal. And then these are the carrots that we have to harvest. They're looking pretty good. They actually got a little bit bigger since I let them go a couple weeks, but oh, sorry, I ran out of space in my camera. If you plan on pests like the tomato hornworm, I'll go back to that, or the squash vine borer, or the cucumber beetle, or Japanese beetles, you know, say they wipe out 30% of your crop, that you could look at that as a negative thing, or you could just kind of plan on it and plant 30% more crops. At least that's my theory, and that's not as stressful if you lose some of your crops. So, you know, I'm still fighting them. I'm still out here trying to find them. It's actually kind of a fun little hunt, but it would be a lot more stressful if my life depended on, you know, what I grow here. We are trying to grow more and more of our food every year. We're trying to increase what we grow, but we're blessed enough to where our life doesn't depend on it, like it might in some parts of the world. So that's a huge blessing. So I try to have that perspective. It is fun, and it is food, and it is something that I try to, you know, maximize my yields as best I can. If you're going to do it, you might as well try to win. But you know, you don't have to. You can also let your failures like get you down and depressed and stuff, or you can learn from them. You can look at it and be like, why did this not work? And sometimes it's beyond your control, like a pest or whatever. But anyway, that's just how I think about it. These beans here are a dry bean, so we're letting these kind of go. See if I can get one out. Oh yeah, cool. It's a red dried bean. So look at that. We'll let these pods dry out, and then we can eat these this winter with chili, or, you know, some sort of stir fry maybe. I got one speed. One area where I need to improve, or it just gets me, I guess, is I have 4 beds right now that aren't planted, and it's the middle of the growing season. We still got fall gardening coming up, so I still have time, but I don't really like these beds sitting empty without stuff growing, because I could plant another succession of summer squash in here. Last year I planted summer squash September 1st, and I still got a bunch. Anyway, that's kind of a update. Hopefully you enjoyed getting out here and walking around the garden with me, and seeing the awesome food that I get to pull out of the ground, and just some of these awesome, there's a honeybee on, 2 honeybees on a sunflower. Look at that. You know, you don't get to see that every day if you live in the a high-rise, you know, apartment in Chicago. So beautiful night. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.